Good morning. It's Saturday, June 19th, and there are so many things going on that I really couldn't decide what to rant on today. So I'll give you an idea of a couple of the things that have happened that are worth looking further into before I could make any definitive conclusion in a rant. So the first thing that happened, Juneteenth was created as a national holiday over the objections of Ron Johnson, a senator from a southern state, who said he was against this holiday because it would be a paid holiday for federal employees, and he didn't know if the United States could stand or afford another paid holiday for federal employees. Well, maybe they could if they stopped pissing money away on a lot of other wasteful things. But in any event, Juneteenth, which is a celebration, and I really couldn't call it a celebration, it's a commemorative holiday, commemorating the Day of Emancipation, which took place in 1862. But if most of you remember, in history, we learned that it took place in 1862, but it didn't become fully executed until 1865, when Texas finally ratified it. So, it's become a holiday because of all the activities related to race in this country. Black Lives Matter, the killing of George Floyd, and those things brought it to the forefront, and now we have Juneteenth as a holiday. And then we have the Supreme Court ruling on a case involving the Affordable Care Act. The Supreme Court ruled that the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, remains valid, rejecting a claim by a group of conservative states that a recent change in the law made it unconstitutional. Now, the Supreme Court voted 7-2 in favor of this decision. The thing also was that two of Donald Trump's three appointees joined the majority. That was Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. Neil Gorsuch dissented. So Gorsuch and Sam Alito dissented. Gorsuch stood staunchly by and said this law was unconstitutional. But they were outvoted. Obviously, the challengers of the law, Texas and 17 other Republican-led states, urged the court to rule Obamacare unconstitutional because of the requirement that all Americans obtain health insurance or pay an income tax penalty. That used to be called the individual mandate. They claimed that's unconstitutional to force people to have health care and to force them to pay the penalty. Now, the penalty was reduced to zero, so I don't see why that should make any difference now. But why shouldn't people have to pay for health care? Are we supposed to let people run around and be unprotected? Are we going to put hospitals in a position of rejecting customers because they can't pay for health care? We don't do that. So it should be individuals' responsibility to take care of their health. But sometimes I guess you got to force them to do something. In many cases, the cost of health care is borne by their employers, and they share in the cost. So health care still has a lot of work to do in this country, but the Affordable Care Act is going to remain in force until some other group of Republican states will figure out a different approach to try and take the law down. This is the third major challenge to the law that has been defeated, rejected by the Supreme Court. So probably, if we were a real forward-thinking nation, we would seriously consider some universal health care. So we wouldn't be going and dicking around constantly with Obamacare. But then maybe we have to do that because the states have nothing better to do. At least the Republican states don't have anything better to do except challenge the law. Now, this is not the greatest law in the world. It's expensive because we cut a deal with the insurance companies and we made sure that they had to make a profit in order for this law to really go into effect in order for insurance companies to feel that they were going to be able to handle the population. But it's really quite unfair when you take a look at it, because the insurance in different states is very expensive. And the reason it's expensive is because in many states there's only one carrier, so there's no competition. And there's no competition because we have some silly rules that insurance companies must get some kind of permission to sell their insurance in whatever state they want to sell it in. So we've created a morass surrounding health care that is not allowing us to really do the job properly. Now, there are over 20 million people who now depend on Obamacare for health insurance. And there's broad public support for this health care insurance. It would have been a disaster if this had been ruled unconstitutional. And don't forget, this insurance must cover pre-existing conditions, which insurance companies are always looking to avoid. So our people, the population in this country, needs this health insurance. And the Republicans should stop trying to declare it unconstitutional, unless they are prepared to come up with a plan to insure the people of the United States against any tragedies. And we're going through 15 months of that crap now. The craziest thing that I heard in this whole argument, the Republicans claimed that the Affordable Health Care Act is harming the American people. It's harming the hard-working American families. That's what the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said. But he didn't say how. But then he went on to say that Congress must work together to improve American health care. Is he intimating that the Republicans are prepared to work on a universal health care system? Is he implying that there will be a nonpartisan bill that works toward universal health care? I think he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. I don't think that's going to happen. I wish it would happen, but I don't see it. Not the way they've been getting together lately. So I didn't intend to rant this long about health care, but it happened. So I'm going to leave you now, and I will see you in the morning. Bye.